I'm about to lose my freaking mind because 2022 just keeps getting bigger and better with games being talked about like God of War Ragnarok, Final Fantasy 16, things like Forspoken, and of course stuff like Splatoon 3. But also, I am just so freaking curious about the gigantic question mark that is PlayStation Plus Premium. This is that new mysterious subscription service that Sony is working on that's going to bring a bunch of classic games and new games to the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. But today, we just got our first official leak that's confirming some games that are coming to the service, and I feel like they actually imply something big is about to go down. What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here. Now, let's start things off by actually taking a look at the PlayStation blog post about PlayStation Plus Premium. Now, if you'll remember, they announced this about a month ago. This is coming out in June, so sometime in the next 60 days, I feel like we're about to start to get a lot of talk, a lot of explanations, a lot of big showcases about PlayStation Plus Premium, because even in their own press release here, they talk about the fact that this is going to have 400 PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games on it, which is completely bonkers. And then the premium aspect, which is the retro games, this has an additional 340 games that range from PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PS3, freaking PSP. It is quite a wide range of tastes of retro goodness. Now, as somebody that grew up playing a lot of these old school Sony games, I am incredibly hyped. But today, we actually got this very peculiar thing that just popped up in Korea. So they have a ratings board that's a bit more strict in Korea. A lot of times they're just tougher on guidelines on what is and is not allowed. You have to declare stuff much more explicitly. Well, they just rated basically Syphon Filter 1, 2, Dark Mirror, and Syphon Filter Logan Shadow all for launch on both the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. Now, in my mind, this only means one thing. The fact that this is being rated for both the PS4 and the PS5, this is 1,000,000% going to be the PlayStation Plus Premium Retro service. But I actually think this implies something much, much greater than what we see right here, which is the fact that I think that this means we're going to be seeing a lot of possibly multiplayer at some point. Extra functionality. As you can see, I have all the freaking Syphon Filter games. I'm the biggest Syphon Filter slut on the planet. But what a lot of people don't seem to talk about is the fact that these games had multiplayer in them. Specifically, I played a lot of Dark Mirror and Logan Shadow. They had this like almost squad-based team deathmatch, which was a bit sloppy. It was a bit misbalanced, but it definitely worked. It was connected to online servers. I played it on PSP all the freaking time. And it makes me think that perhaps this is a good way for them to show some extra goodwill to get people interested in the service. Now, Syphon Filter is just an example of this quality, though, because these were made by classic Bend Studio. These were made to be PlayStation exclusives. Everybody loves them. If you actually look at the replies to the tweet, everybody is basically expressing how much they're in love with Syphon Filter, but it's starting to make me think, what if this is also sort of an expression of the fact that they're going to try and make multiplayer enabled in a slightly different fashion? Now, I want to talk about some patents and stuff, but let's begin with some talk about share play. So there's a system that exists that's called Controller Pass, I believe. When you're playing on the PlayStation 4, when you're playing on the PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation 5, you can join a party with somebody, and then at any point, they can take over your controller. There's a special online system that lets basically somebody remote system play your console from their house. Now, that's great, but I think that this is something that could be enabled in some capacity to do couch co-op long distance. Syphon Filter 3 is not talked about enough, but it did have a couch co-op, crazy, trippy shooter style thing where you could play against your friends. It was very broken, it was very goofy, but I think that it could possibly work using share play functionality. Now that gets me excited, but I also think that this is giving us our big hint about the fact that if this is being enabled, I think it shows the fact that everything PlayStation has previously touched, all the old school Sony stuff, is definitely coming back. Those of us who are extremely excited to play through something like Legend of Dragoon again, Legend of Dragoon, not only is this game a freaking masterpiece, it feels like it's completely lost to time Nobody talks about it. It's nowhere to be found. Copies of the game itself are incredibly expensive and they have to be played on original hardware. If they bring back stuff like this that Sony already owns, that is already beloved, it is a great chance to get some extra goodwill, especially because we have confirmation about a different style of added functionality. So PlayStation, they patented this about a year and a half ago now, and it's PlayStation created an ability where within their own ecosystem, when you're playing older games on PlayStation, they've enabled this special extra new technical detail where they've enabled and created new trophies for these old games, which to me is incredibly hyped, especially because PlayStation has been talking about the fact that everybody is on board with this. There is an official statement by PlayStation where they said one game at least from every major publisher is already involved with the PlayStation Plus Premium project, which means that there is a good chance that we could see all sorts of ancient, really obscure cool stuff coming back as part of the service for the subscription fee, but with added features. I'm a big trophy hunter, and I would love to see trophies added to some really obscure, weird stuff like frickin' Diablo. Nobody even remembers that Diablo was on PlayStation. Bring back stuff like frickin' Suikoden, old school Konami. Konami, you're not doing anything. Just let us play some Suikoden. I'm very curious to see which retro projects get selected and added to this service, because the official number they have here is the fact that it's going to have 340 retro games, but how much of that is going to be just some random like 101 Dalmatians or Shrek 5 or something like that? I want to make sure this is good, high quality games. Like personally, I want to see stuff that you can't play anywhere else, like freaking Resident Evil 2. Bring back the original versions of extremely good games so I have an excuse to speedrun them, to platinum them. If there's actually platinum trophies in these old school games, I'm going to absolutely lose it. This is sort of starting to imply the fact that this service could be bigger and better than we originally imagined. There's this very interesting picture that's been going around that is completely fake. The artist who created this has admitted that he made this just for funsies, but a bunch of subscribers have sent it to me because while this is just fake, it is something that I think gives us a good idea to the potential of PlayStation Plus Premium. Like right here, think about the fact that it has Metal Gear Solid, Jak and Daxter, Rayman, freaking Crisis Core. This is just so cool to think about the idea that everything on one big accessible service. PlayStation 1, 2, PS3, freaking PSP. I am just so fascinated by the potential of playing through these games again, about getting new trophies, about getting new experiences, and hopefully having some online experiences packaged into it. Right now, we still don't actually know what it's going to be, but as it stands, just these first leaks, and I feel like this is the first of many, I think you should be hyped. Already I've seen people saying, I haven't played these games. I grew up playing with an Xbox or a GameCube or a Nintendo 64. I missed PlayStation 1 completely. I entirely missed PlayStation 2. This is going to be a chance for people to experience the greatness of old school Sony in a way they haven't been able to yet. The idea of possibly having cleaned up, slightly upscaled, better frame rates, any small technical improvements is one thing, but more than anything else, personally, I'm just so happy that these original games that we already loved are coming back in some formats. Now, if only they'd fix that PlayStation 3 streaming problem, then everything would be perfect. But what do you think about this? Are you excited about PlayStation Plus Premium, or does this seem like just some big stupid way of trying to milk your cow titties? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below, and please, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already, which I think I said by accident, but please keep dreaming. And yes, I'm wearing a tank top. It's Casual Friday. What are you going to do? Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.